This is a Jacob Lipke Studios production. Hey guys, welcome back. So recently I've been watching a lot of those Iceberg videos. I watched the SpongeBob Iceberg video, the Super Mario 64 Iceberg video, I watched the Simpsons Iceberg video, and I noticed that there wasn't a Super Mario Bros. Iceberg video. And as you guys know, I love the original Super Mario Bros., and I know tons about it. So I decided I am the perfect candidate to make the first Super Mario Bros. Iceberg video. So my first fact for the tip of the iceberg would be the 1-1 and 1-2 hidden lives. I feel like those are a pretty common secret. I remember when I found that secret on the bus playing my GBA version of Super Mario Bros. Something else that I would say is in the tip of the iceberg would also be all of the warp zones. I feel like I found those pretty quick into when I started playing the game, and I didn't even have to look up where they were. I remember I came across them myself, just like with the 1-1 and 1-2 lives. And I suppose, in a way, to go along with that, the bonus rooms as well, or coin caches, when you go down the pipes and collect the coins on the overworld levels, but then they become underground levels for that section. Those are also a very basic fact, knowing where all of those are. Another super common fact is that the bushes are actually the same as the clouds, just cut off a little bit and turned green. So I was debating where I was going to put this one. I was maybe going to put it at sea level, one level below the tip. But I decided that it's such a commonly known trick that I should just put it in the tip of the iceberg, and that is the 99 lives trick. It may not be super easy to pull off, but it is something that pretty much everybody who's played Super Mario Bros. Or at least knows a little bit about it, it's pretty much something everybody knows about. And I think part of the reason why that is because A, it was in the first issue of Nintendo Power, and B, it was also revealed in the 1988 Inside Edition about Nintendo, where they go to the game counselors, and one of them talks about the 99 lives trick. This is actually where I myself first learned about the 99 lives trick. I've also got lots of nostalgia for that newscast. The next simple fact that's in the tip of the iceberg would be that if you wait long enough while the Hammer Brothers are sitting there jumping and throwing their hammers, they will actually approach you after a while. I would say that the Minus World also belongs in the tip of the iceberg, even though, once again, like the 99 lives trick, it may be a little bit harder to execute. It's so commonly known that it should be in the tip of the iceberg for sure. The game was first released in Japan on September 13th, 1985. Mario's design and color scheme in the original Super Mario Bros. Is actually significantly different than the current Mario that we see in games from today. As you can see here, the colors of his overalls and shirt are switched, red overalls with a blue shirt, and he has other certain differences in his facial features. Now we're getting into what I'm going to call the sea level, which is where the iceberg obviously starts to hit the water. And the first thing that I decided to put in the sea level category was that all of the toads in the original Super Mario Bros. Are actually turned into bricks. So the bricks in the game that you smash are actually toads. Now, they say that you're actually freeing them when you break the bricks, and that's why you're awarded actually 50 points. But I don't know about that. Where do they go? I don't see them come out. The lives display screen before each level can only display up to the number 9 in regular numbers. If you get more than 9 lives, it actually shows a crown and a 0, and then crown and 1, then 2 from there. Eventually, it begins to go crown and then all the letters. And then when it runs out of letters, it uses blocks of glitch. And then when it runs out of those, it rolls over to 1, and you get a game over. The small Fire Mario trick is a somewhat cool, but overall pretty useless trick, so I'll put it in the sea level category. Let's say you're in one of the later worlds, and you get a game over. You don't want to start all the way back at the beginning. Well, just hold A at the title screen until you see your lives display screen come up. And you'll notice you're still on the world that you were last on. I'd say that another C-level fact would just be the general Game Genie codes, whether it be the hidden levels, or the randomly spawning enemy code, or something like the moon jumping code. They are all super fun to play with. Now we're diving down under the surface. This involves things like unused characters and sprites, and unused mechanics. Something else that we find down here below the surface is the 5-1 castle. It's actually supposed to be a large castle, like you'd see coming out of any previous world, and you would see it going into it in the -3 level before the castle level. But in 5-1, you come out of a regular castle, like a castle that you would go into at the end of a regular level. Even during the era of its release, the original Super Mario Bros. Was ported to a couple different platforms. It was ported to the PC by Hudson Soft, and this version of the game is actually terrible compared to the original. It doesn't have a fluently moving screen. The screen moves when you get to the end of each screen, like in Zelda. Not very fun. However, it was also ported to the arcade in 2 different cabinets. There was Versus Super Mario Bros., which I actually have a homebrew copy of on the NES. This was, in my opinion, the better version, and the other cabinet that it was ported to were the Nintendo PlayChoice 10 cabinets, and I personally think these are not nearly as good as the Versus Super Mario Bros. Cabinets, merely because, with the PlayChoice 10 version, you need to put in quarters to buy more time to play the game. We are now in the mid-phase of the Iceberg, and this part of the Iceberg has a lot to do with speedrunning. The first fact that I like to bring up when discussing Super Mario Bros. Speedrunning is the wall jump. Now, in later Mario games, if you come up to a wall, you can actually kick yourself off of the wall. And this was thought to be impossible in the original Super Mario Bros. Until speedrunners figured out that if you clip into the wall and press jump at that precise frame, you can actually jump off of the wall. Another speedrunning trick that I think is fun to practice is a piranha plant clip. Now, the hitbox of a piranha plant is actually a lot smaller than the sprite, so you can actually glide over or next to a piranha plant and either glide over it or jump onto the pipe that it's coming out of currently and jump over it. This next speedrunning trick is extremely difficult to pull off, and I myself cannot do it. But to do this trick, you have to clip into the block of the flagpole while hitting a bullet bill, and this skips the flagpole animation, saving you a small amount of time. But it all matters when speedrunning. Another extremely hard speedrunning trick that I am unable to perform is the wrong warp. In 4-2, if you execute 3 backwards jumps at the beginning of the level and activate the vine block, you prevent the screen from scrolling too far. Then, when you go down the coin cache pipe, you immediately end up in the warp area. Doing this skips the animation of the vine climbing up, therefore once again saving you time. And the reason why I don't really try to do these two is because you save such an insignificant amount of time, and I'm not a speedrunner, so it doesn't really matter. A really good mid-phase of the Iceberg fact is that the original controls for the game actually really sucked. Up was jump, B was dash, and A was fire. Now we're at the bottom of the Berg, and the first fact for the bottom of the Iceberg is that they originally planned for Mario to carry a gun. Miyamoto has also said that the coin caches in the clouds were originally supposed to be shooting sections, but they wanted to incorporate more jumping into the game. The pattern that the Lakitu throw the Spinies out in the completed game is actually incorrect. They originally planned for the Spinies to try to track Mario a little bit more. There was actually a port of Super Mario Bros. On the Game & Watch. I actually picked one up at one of my first retro gaming expos, and it's actually a pretty fun game, one of the better Game & Watches. Earlier, we talked about the Minus World. However, on the Famicom Disk System version of Super Mario Bros., the Minus World actually continues, rather than just being a looping level, like in all the other versions. Along those same lines, it's also interesting that corrupted ROMs of the game have found even more hidden levels. On the cover of the original United States and European version of Super Mario Bros., The sprite that's used for Mario is actually taken from Donkey Kong, but with different colors. Okay, we've cleared the bottom of the iceberg, and now we are heading into the abyss. In Japan, they made Super Mario Bros. Menko, which are like the Japanese version of trading cards. They're small chips and also small rectangles of cardboard. They also made the Japanese version of action figures called Keshi for Super Mario Bros. And Keshi come out of little capsule machines. Some Keshi, like the Super Mario Bros. Ones that I have here, were actually party favors. In 1986, there was actually a Japanese anime that was based on the original Super Mario Bros. And it's pretty weird. There was actually promotional material to go along with the movie where Mario is cussing after he gets a game over. Not only that, but there's actually a scene where Luigi begins to hallucinate after Goombas overdose him with mushrooms. There was actually a Famicom Disk System version of Super Mario Bros. Called All Night Nippon Super Mario Bros., where certain enemies and things in the background of Super Mario Bros. Are changed to resemble a Japanese talk show called All Night Nippon. Many of the songs in the original Super Mario Bros., written by Koji Kondo, are actually inspired by other songs that came before. Sister Marion by T-Square. Summer Breeze by Piper. Let's Not Talk About It by Friendship. The Nintendo 64 is actually the only Nintendo console that hasn't gotten an official port of Super Mario Bros. Creator of Mario and director of Super Mario Bros., Shigeru Miyamoto, actually drew the cover for the Japanese Super Mario Bros. Release. And that just about does it on my original Super Mario Bros. Iceberg video. I hope you guys enjoyed watching it as much as I enjoyed making it. Thanks for watching. Subscribe for more.